Reality responds to your frequency. Introduction. There are moments when silence feels alive, when the air itself seems to hum with invisible meaning. If you've ever stood alone in the stillness of dawn, when the world is neither asleep nor awake, you may have felt it. That subtle vibration, that quiet pulse behind all things. It is the same pulse that moves the tides, guides the migration of birds, and whispers through the atoms that compose your breath. You are immersed in it, though you rarely feel it consciously. It is the language of energy, and everything you have ever experienced has been spoken through it. From the quantum scale of existence, where particles blink in and out of visibility, to the rhythm of your beating heart, frequency is the grammar of creation. It is not what you see that defines your life. It is the invisible rhythm beneath what you see. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, carries a vibrational signature. And the universe listens always, through vibration. Before a word is spoken, before a plan is made, before a dream is written on the paper of your mind, your energy has already spoken. You are constantly broadcasting. Through joy or doubt, through gratitude or fear, you are transmitting signals into an ocean of energy that responds without judgment. It doesn't decide whether you deserve what you emit. It simply matches frequency to frequency, vibration to vibration, as faithfully as an echo repeats a sound. Most people live unaware of this. They move through life thinking reality is something solid, fixed, external, a stage built long before they entered. But science, at its deepest level, disagrees. Quantum physics revealed that reality is not a static structure. It is a probability wave, fluid and responsive to the observer. The moment you look, reality organizes itself around your perception. The act of observation collapses potential into form. You, the observer, are not separate from the observed. You are part of the equation, and here lies the secret. When you change your inner frequency, your emotional vibration, your mental tone, your state of being, the universe cannot help but respond. It is a mirror, and your frequency is the light that defines the reflection. Think of reality as a symphony, endless instruments vibrating together in infinite combinations. Some tones harmonize, some clash, some create tension that seeks resolution. You are one of those instruments. Your consciousness is the tuning fork that determines what symphony you experience. When you vibrate with gratitude, life harmonizes with abundance. When you vibrate with resentment, it mirrors scarcity. This is not moral punishment or reward. It is energetic law. Just as two musical notes of similar frequency resonate together, so do states of consciousness attract experiences of corresponding tone. Imagine dropping two stones into a still pond. The ripples from each stone meet, merge, and create new patterns. That is what happens between you and the field of existence. Every thought is a stone. Every feeling is a ripple. Reality is simply the pattern formed by your waves meeting the waves of the universe. Scientists call it resonance, mystics call it the law of vibration, and saints call it faith made visible. But all speak of the same truth. Energy flows toward its own likeness. Whatever you sustain, emotionally, becomes magnetized to you. Not because you command it, but because you harmonize with it. You've seen this at work without realizing it. Think of days when everything seemed to flow. You woke inspired, and the world opened effortlessly before you. Traffic cleared, opportunities appeared, people smiled. Then recall the days when everything resisted you, when frustration multiplied frustration, and every step seemed to echo your tension. Neither was it a coincidence. You were witnessing the feedback of your vibration. Energy is obedient. It responds instantly to the dominant frequency you hold. This means that transformation does not begin with action, it begins with vibration. You can change jobs, change partners, change cities, but unless your frequency shifts, you will recreate the same patterns in different scenery. The ancients knew this. In temples older than written language, they spoke of breath as spirit, of sound as creation. They believed words held power not because of meaning alone, but because of vibration. They understood that to speak, even silently in the mind, is to shape energy. Yet modern civilization has forgotten this truth. We were taught to believe only in what can be measured, touched, or sold. We trained our attention outward into noise and distraction and lost awareness of the subtle instrument within, the one that constantly plays the tone of our life, our inner frequency. But that instrument never stopped playing. It sings through your nervous system, through the electromagnetic field of your heart, through the billions of quantum exchanges happening inside every atom of your body. You are both musician and melody, both sender and receiver. And the universe, vast, infinite, alive, is the orchestra responding in kind. Let's step briefly into the language of physics, not to complicate, but to clarify. In the quantum world, particles are not objects. They are vibrations of energy existing in a field of infinite potential. They respond to frequency. Two waves that vibrate alike amplify one another. Waves that are out of sync cancel or distort. This principle explains not just sound, but emotion, thought, and experience. When you feel gratitude, your brain and heart emit coherent electromagnetic patterns, smooth, rhythmic, and stable. These patterns ripple outward, influencing both your biology and the energetic environment around you. Coherence creates clarity, and clarity creates manifestation. On the other hand, when you live in fear or anger, your electromagnetic field becomes chaotic. The signal you send is inconsistent, fragmented, and reality mirrors that instability. You experience mixed results, delays, and confusion. It isn't punishment, it's physics. The universe is not moral, it's musical. It resonates. If you truly understood the sensitivity of this field, you would watch your thoughts the way a sculptor watches the blade of a chisel. Every emotional reaction is an instruction to the universe. Every belief you rehearse becomes a frequency code in the quantum matrix. You are surrounded by a living field of responsive intelligence, and it speaks one language: vibration. Most people spend their lives speaking in contradiction, asking for joy while transmitting fear, asking for love while broadcasting unworthiness, asking for abundance while emanating doubt. The universe receives both messages and obeys the stronger vibration. You cannot fool the field. It listens not to your words, but to your energy. And yet, this is not a cause for guilt, it is liberation. Because if reality responds to vibration, then you hold the ultimate power. You can change your vibration. You can rewrite the script of your life from the inside out. Listen. Beneath all your ambitions, your worries, your goals, there is something deeper that moves you. Call it your baseline frequency, the tone of consciousness you wake up with before thought begins. It is shaped by your history, your habits, your emotional memories, but it is not fixed. It can be tuned. Begin noticing. What tone do you emit when you are silent? Is it heavy or light, contracted or expansive? Does your energy feel open to possibility or guarded by fear? That tone, not your words, not your plans, is what reality is responding to right now. Awareness is the first act of tuning. When you become conscious of the tone you are broadcasting, you begin to regain authorship of your world. The shift from unconscious emission to conscious creation is the awakening every mystic describes. The moment the dreamer realizes the dream is responsive. This understanding carries weight. It means there is no randomness in your experience, only resonance. It means that the people you meet, the opportunities you receive, even the obstacles that appear, all echo your inner frequency. They come not to punish you, but to mirror you, to reveal what tone still needs tuning. The responsibility goes away when you realize this. Why is this happening to me? Is no longer a question you ask. Then begin to inquire, what does this indicate about my vibration? That question is the beginning of power, because power, in the truest sense, is not control over others. It is mastery over one's own frequency. When you can hold your energy steady, no matter what the outer world presents, you become magnetic. You become the still point around which chaos organizes into order. The world begins to shape itself around your coherence. Close your eyes for a moment and feel your heartbeat. That rhythm is not isolated. It is synchronized with the electromagnetic pulse of the planet itself. Every beat sends waves into the quantum ocean of energy, and those waves carry your emotional signature. With each breath, you are imprinting reality. You are not small. You are not insignificant. You are the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the timeless and the temporal, the wave and the particle. You are the living point where the infinite decides to take form. And so, as we begin this journey together, remember, reality is not against you. It is not indifferent to you. It is responding, moment by moment, to the frequency you sustain. If you wish to change the story of your life, change the vibration from which it is being told. The silence you hear between these words is not empty. It is potential waiting for your next frequency. You are standing before an infinite field that listens, and the question that echoes through it, ancient, eternal, patient, is simple. What song will you play next? Chapter 1. The Illusion of Randomness. We were taught that life is a chain of coincidences. Those events happen to us, not through us. That luck, circumstance, and the shifting moods of fate write the story of our days. We were taught that reality is random, indifferent, impartial, but what if that teaching was the greatest illusion of all? Look around. Beneath the apparent chaos of life, patterns repeat. People replay the same relationships under different names, attract the same opportunities dressed in different forms, and meet the same obstacles under new disguises. History itself repeats the same dramas across centuries: greed, power, war, redemption. And if we could see energy as clearly as we see form, we would recognize that nothing is random. It all hums to the tune of frequency, the hidden music behind events. Imagine a radio station that never changes its broadcast. The songs may vary slightly, but the tone, the mood, and the energy remain the same. This is what happens when a person's vibration stays unconscious. The mind might desire change, but the energy transmits the same old frequency. And reality keeps replying with the same familiar echo. You want abundance, but vibrate scarcity. You want love, but emit self-doubt. You want peace, but dwell in resentment. And so life mirrors those signals back, faithfully and precisely. Not as punishment, but as proof that the field always listens. Every unhealed emotion, every unexamined belief, sends out its own broadcast. Fear attracts experience that justifies more fear. Guilt draws scenarios that confirm unworthiness. The outer world becomes the canvas where your unseen energy paints its self-portrait. From the quantum perspective, this repetition is not mystical, it's mechanical. Your energy field, A measurable electromagnetic spectrum radiating from every cell interacts with the field of possibilities surrounding you. When frequencies align, resonance occurs. Resonance means amplification. The more you dwell on a vibration, consciously or unconsciously, the stronger its echo in reality becomes. You have felt this law when your mood attracts matching circumstances, when frustration calls more frustration, when laughter draws laughter. You have felt it when one negative thought spirals into an entire day of heaviness. It is resonance at work, the universe amplifying the signal you sustain. If you could see it visually, you would see streams of light leaving your heart, meeting the frequencies of the field and drawing toward you particles vibrating at the same rhythm. Matter itself, the so-called solid world, is nothing more than energy arranged by resonance. What you call my life is a complex pattern of energy returning to its source, you. Yet we walk unaware of this magnificent mechanism, thinking life is a lottery. We move through our days reacting, defending, blaming, never realizing that every reaction is a broadcast. We carry resentment like static interference and then wonder why clarity never comes. We dwell on worry and then label our fears premonitions when they materialize. But nothing mystical is happening. It's resonance obeying command. Unawareness is the true prison. When you don't realize that every emotion carries a frequency, you become hostage to your own energetic inertia. You might change your scenery, but the inner station keeps playing the same tune. And so you attract people who reflect your unfinished lessons. They trigger your wounds not to harm you, but to show you what you're still vibrating. Life is generous in its repetition. It keeps showing you the pattern until you see it consciously. Here is the paradox. Most people secretly cling to the belief in randomness because it absolves them of responsibility. If life is random, then you are innocent of your suffering. If it's all a coincidence, then there is no need to change your vibration. You only need to survive. But freedom demands ownership. The moment you accept that your frequency shapes experience, you can no longer pretend to be powerless. You can no longer hide behind luck or fate. You must become deliberate, conscious, sovereign. That shift frightens many because responsibility feels heavy. Yet it is not weight, it is wings. To own your vibration is to remember your creative authority. You are not at the mercy of external tides. You are the tide itself. Quantum theory tells us that observation affects outcome, but observation is not limited to sight. To feel intensely is to observe with your whole being. Emotion focuses energy. The more emotion you attach to a thought, the more solid it becomes in the quantum field. This is why strong emotions manifest quickly. Joy and gratitude attract new blessings because they are coherent, expansive waves. Fear and anger attract repetition because they are dense, contracted waves. Your body is the amplifier. Your nervous system, heart and brain form a trinity of broadcasting equipment, sending electromagnetic signals measurable by modern instruments. Each thought, each surge of feeling alters that field, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. What science calls superposition, the coexistence of many possible outcomes, collapses into a single result when observed through emotion. Emotion decides which possibility becomes your lived reality. Here is the cycle that traps most souls. Unconscious vibration emits from past experiences. The field mirrors it as matching external events. The person reacts emotionally to those events, reinforcing the same vibration. The loop continues. This is why emotional healing is not optional. It is a quantum necessity. Until you release the emotion encoded in memory, you will keep broadcasting its frequency. The past does not exist in time. It exists in vibration. A painful experience lives on only if you keep replaying its tone within your field. When you forgive, you collapse the energetic wave of the past, you change your frequency signature, and reality, that mirror of infinite responsiveness, rearranges itself instantly to reflect the update. Most people try to change their reality through action alone. They hustle, push, compete, strive, unaware that effort applied from low vibration multiplies struggle. They force outcomes rather than allowing alignment. But in the quantum field, frequency precedes form. Action without alignment is noise. Aligned frequency turns whispers into miracles. Think of two magnets. No matter how much effort you put into pushing them together, when their poles repel, they resist. But flip one magnet, change its polarity, and they unite effortlessly. That flip is vibration. When your inner frequency matches your desired outcome, the law of resonance does the heavy lifting. You move from forcing to flowing. Humanity has romanticized struggle. We were told that hard work alone guarantees success. We glorify exhaustion and call it virtue. Yet underneath this myth lies an emotional vibration: unworthiness. The belief that we must prove our value through suffering emits a frequency that attracts obstacles to justify the belief. Quantumly, this makes perfect sense. If your dominant vibration says, "I must fight to earn," the field provides endless battles. It fulfills your vibration faithfully. Until you shift that frequency to, "I am already worthy, I work from joy, not for it," the struggle continues. The universe mirrors not your words, but your energetic identity. Close your eyes and imagine your life as an energetic architecture, invisible scaffolding built by your beliefs and emotions. Each repeated thought adds a beam. Each emotion strengthens a pillar. Over time, you build invisible structures so familiar you call them reality. But these structures are flexible. They are made of frequency, not stone. When you begin to question a belief, truly question it, not argue, but observe. The frequency that sustains that structure begins to loosen. The building trembles. Soon, the old energy dissolves, and a new architecture begins to form. This is why awareness feels unsettling. It shakes what once felt solid. But what falls was never real. It was only resonance awaiting a higher note. There comes a moment in every conscious life when the pattern becomes visible. You recognize the repetition. The same arguments, the same disappointments, the same fears dressed in new names. And suddenly, the illusion of randomness shatters. You see the thread connecting them all: your frequency. That recognition can sting. It means the villain, the savior, the teacher, and the lesson all lived inside you. But it also liberates, because if you are the source, you are also the solution. The moment you see the loop, it begins to dissolve. Observation changes vibration. This is not a metaphor, it is measurable. When you observe an emotion without resistance, the neural pathways supporting it weaken. The frequency loses charge. Conscious awareness deactivates unconscious repetition. Now, as you listen, perhaps you can feel it, that subtle shift between resistance and curiosity. The mind begins to ask, if reality is responding to my vibration, what am I truly transmitting? That question is the beginning of mastery, because in that question lives the power of choice. You can continue transmitting unconsciously, letting old emotions dictate new tomorrows, or you can become deliberate, tuning your vibration with intention. You can decide to no longer be an echo, but a composer. The field waits patiently. It never punishes, never withholds. It simply mirrors what it receives. The question is not whether it listens, but whether you are aware of what you're sending. The illusion of randomness is comforting, but comfort is not evolution. To evolve, you must face the precision of the mirror. Every event, even the painful ones, is a reflection of frequency-seeking harmony. The field does not misunderstand you, it magnifies you. And when you learn to interpret its reflections not as cruelty, but as communication, your entire relationship with life changes. No more blame, no more accidents, only messages, vibrations seeking alignment. You begin to read reality the way a musician reads sheet music, understanding that every dissonance invites tuning. So, listen again, not with ears, but with awareness. Beneath the surface noise of daily life, can you feel the echo of your own energy, the subtle feedback between your inner tone and outer events? That hum is the universe responding. It never stops. It only waits for you to notice. And when you do, when you truly see that nothing is random, you stand at the threshold of quantum authorship. The story no longer writes you. You begin to write the story. The illusion of randomness is dissolving now. You can feel it, the realization that every repetition has meaning, every delay carries resonance, every coincidence hums with intention. In this realization, the old paradigm dies, the paradigm of separation, chance, and luck. In the stillness beyond it, a question forms, not in your mind, but in your field. If reality is mirroring me so precisely, who am I truly beneath my vibration? That question opens the next gate, and beyond that gate lies the most mysterious phenomenon in both science and spirit: the observer. Chapter 2: The Inner Observer. You have heard it said that perception shapes reality. But what if the act of seeing itself is what gives reality its shape? Not metaphorically, literally. That in the instant you observe, energy becomes form, possibility collapses into experience, and the invisible becomes visible. This is the truth hidden within every sacred text, every mystery school, every quantum equation. You are not merely within the universe. The universe is within your observation of it. In the quantum laboratory, scientists discovered something astonishing. Particles did not exist as solid things until they were observed. Before observation, they existed as waves of probability, ghost-like potentials everywhere and nowhere. Only when consciousness entered the equation, when awareness looked, did those waves decide where to appear. The universe, it seems, waits for attention before it chooses form. But this principle is not confined to the realm of physics. It unfolds in the theater of your everyday life. Every moment you turn your attention toward something, an idea, an emotion, a possibility, you are collapsing the field of probability into your personal experience. What you focus on becomes real. What you ignore dissolves back into potential. Think of awareness as light. Wherever you shine it, reality grows visible. Wherever you withdraw it, things fade. Your attention is creative energy. When you look with fear, you crystallize fearful outcomes. When you look with love, you summon harmony into existence. Every choice of focus is a small act of creation. This is why ancient mystics said that God spoke light into being. Light is observation, and observation is love, the willingness to see, to give existence to what was unseen. When you observe yourself consciously, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, something remarkable happens. The observer within you is not touched by what it sees. It is pure awareness, silent, steady, neutral. It does not judge. It does not cling. It simply watches, and in that watching, your vibration changes. Energy once trapped in a reaction begins to release. This is not psychology, it is physics. The moment you observe energy without resistance, you alter its pattern. Science measures a faint electromagnetic field radiating from your heart, extending meters beyond your body. But mystics know that your true field is far greater. An invisible ocean of consciousness, enveloping and connecting everything you perceive as separate. You are both the observer and the observed, the wave and the witness of the wave. When you awaken as the observer, you stop identifying with the ripples. You become aware of the ocean itself. The moment you say, "I am angry," you fuse with the frequency of anger. But the moment you say, "I am aware of anger arising," you step out of resonance. Observation lifts you above the vibration you once emitted. You stop being the storm and become the sky. Every frequency has its vantage point. Fear sees limitation. Gratitude sees possibility. Peace sees perfection. You cannot perceive beyond your frequency because your vibration determines the wavelength of reality you tune into. Just as a radio can only play the station it's tuned to, your consciousness can only perceive realities that resonate with its current frequency. When you raise your vibration, you don't escape the world, you simply tune into a higher broadcast of it. The objects may appear the same, but their meaning, timing, and alignment change completely. It's as if life begins to conspire in your favor, because you have entered a new harmonic band of experience, and it all begins with observation. Observation is the tuning dial of the soul. Every time you dwell on a thought, you are observing it. Observation feeds it energy. What you resist, you strengthen, because resistance is attention inverted. You might say, "I don't want to be poor," but your awareness is fixed on poverty, so the vibration expands. The field doesn't understand negation, it reads focus. To shift your reality, you must shift what you habitually observe. Observe beauty, and beauty multiplies. Observe fear, and fear metastasizes. This is why gratitude is not just a moral virtue, it is an energetic technology. Gratitude trains observation toward coherence. It teaches the mind to dwell on frequencies that expand rather than contract. Each moment of genuine appreciation is a quantum act, a recalibration of reality through conscious observation. Yet there is another side to this discovery, a shadow that frightens the ego. If observation creates reality, then you can no longer hide behind the illusion of innocence. You are shaping your world even in your silence, even in your avoidance. The things you refuse to look at, the fears you bury, the grief you postpone, the shame you hide, still exist in your field, unobserved but active. They vibrate beneath awareness, attracting experiences that mirror their tone until you finally bring them into light. You cannot heal what you will not see, and you cannot raise your frequency while denying the frequencies you fear. Observation, therefore, is not only creative, it is redemptive. To look without judgment is to be free. To acknowledge without resistance is to alchemize. Every shadow that you observe with compassion dissolves into light. You are a living experiment of consciousness. The universe is studying itself through your awareness. When you open your eyes in wonder, the cosmos experiences itself as wonder. When you fall into despair, the cosmos experiences itself as despair. It learns, evolves, and refines through you. From the quantum to the cosmic, every level of reality seeks coherence, harmony between observer and observed. When you align with love, the field around you becomes ordered, structured, luminous. When you align with fear, the field becomes turbulent, fragmented, unstable. This is why a single human heart in peace has a measurable influence on the environment around it. The frequency of coherence radiates outward, organizing chaos into harmony. You are not a speck of dust lost in infinity. You are infinity looking back at itself through human eyes. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of the observer. In stillness, the constant noise of thought subsides and awareness becomes pure. Meditation is not an escape from life, but a laboratory for frequency. When you sit in silence and observe your thoughts passing like clouds, you are training the most powerful instrument in existence: attention. Each moment of mindful observation increases the coherence of your field. You begin to feel the texture of energy itself, how thoughts have density, how emotions have color, how presence itself hums. You realize that silence is alive, vibrating, intelligent, responsive. It is in this silence that reality recalibrates. Every breath becomes a tuning fork, aligning you with creation. When you identify as the observer rather than the character, something subtle but revolutionary occurs. Life stops happening to you and begins unfolding through you. You recognize that every challenge is not a punishment, but a vibration, calling for integration. The people who trigger you become mirrors, reflecting frequencies you have yet to master. You stop asking, "Why are they doing this to me?" and begin asking, "What vibration within me are they showing me?" This shift in perception dissolves resistance, and where resistance ends, coherence begins. Coherence is creative power. When your energy field becomes coherent, the universe rushes to cooperate. Synchronicities multiply, opportunities align, healing accelerates. You no longer chase outcomes, outcomes gravitate toward you. Picture yourself standing before an infinite mirror, a mirror so vast that it reflects not just your body but your energy, your thoughts, your emotions. Everything you see in that mirror is your vibration made visible. Now imagine changing your expression and the reflection changes instantly. That's how the field works. Reality is a quantum mirror reflecting the totality of your consciousness. But most people look at the reflection and try to change it directly. They polish the mirror instead of changing their face. They struggle to rearrange outer circumstances while ignoring the inner frequency creating them. This is the core misunderstanding of the unconscious world, mistaking the reflection for the source. The wise turn inward. They adjust their vibration, and the reflection obeys. The more awake you become, the more sensitive reality feels. Synchronicities increase. Your words manifest faster. Emotions ripple through your environment with tangible effect. This acceleration is not punishment. It is precision. The universe entrusts greater creative power to those who are conscious enough to use it deliberately. Awareness magnifies manifestation. When you're half asleep, reality moves slowly. It must repeat patterns to get your attention. When you are awake, manifestation becomes immediate. This is why consciousness feels both miraculous and demanding. You are wielding the creative instrument directly. Every thought becomes brushstroke, every emotion pigment, every moment canvas. You paint with vibration, and the universe displays your art in real time. You may wonder, if I am the observer and everything I perceive is my vibration, who is observing the observer? This is the paradox at the heart of existence. The more you awaken, the more you realize that the observer is not a separate entity. It is the very consciousness that breathes life into all things. It is what mystics call the I Am, the presence behind identity. When you rest in that presence, reality becomes play, not struggle. You see that the same intelligence animating galaxies beats within your heart. Observation is divine participation. To observe consciously is to say to the universe, I see you, and through seeing, I create you. It is worship through awareness, prayer through perception, And in that sacred act of seeing, the boundaries between self and cosmos dissolve. Each time you bring awareness to your breath, your heartbeat, the sensations of your body, you return to the frequency of witnessing. This frequency is neutral, not cold, but pure. It has no agenda, no fear, no demand. It is love in its rawest form, unconditional seeing. When you observe yourself with compassion, you begin to vibrate at this frequency. Old energies melt, judgment falls away. The parts of you that were fragmented by shame or rejection start to reintegrate. Coherence expands. This is self-healing, not by doing, but by seeing. Observation is the flame that turns density into light. Every time you choose to witness instead of react, the universe itself reorganizes around that choice. Somewhere, right now, your observation is touching the quantum field. Each act of awareness, each moment you choose to see clearly instead of judging, sends ripples across space and time. Your gaze reorganizes particles. Your attention bends probability. You are participating in the continuous creation of the cosmos. This is the quiet miracle. Every heartbeat, every breath, every moment of conscious presence contributes to the evolution of reality itself. The universe is expanding through your awareness of it. It is awakening through you. And so you begin to understand. You are not trapped inside reality. You are the consciousness observing it into form. Each thought is a wave collapsing into experience, each feeling a tuning fork shaping what will be seen next. You are the bridge between potential and existence, the eternal observer standing at the threshold of infinity. But there remains a question, one that whispers like static between worlds. If observation creates reality, how can you consciously tune what you observe? How can you learn to hold frequencies that summon higher worlds into form? That is where we go next. Chapter 3. Tuning the Instrument of the Soul. You are not a static being. You are an instrument, and every moment of your life is music being played through you. Your thoughts are the strings, your emotions the rhythm, your breath the bow that draws the tone from silence. And just like any instrument, when you fall out of tune, your world sounds discordant. But when you realign your vibration, life begins to play in harmony again. The art of creation is not about commanding reality. It is about tuning the self so that reality cannot help but echo in resonance. The secret is not to demand from the universe, but to become coherent with it. To raise your frequency is not to chase light. It is to remember that you are light and to clear the static that dimmed it. In the quantum field, coherence is power. When the waves of energy that make up your thoughts, emotions, and body oscillate in rhythm, their amplitude multiplies. They amplify one another like synchronized tides, creating waves strong enough to influence matter. This is why emotional coherence accelerates manifestation. A focused mind without an open heart creates interference. The signal fragments. But when thought and emotion move as one, reality bends to meet them. Imagine striking a tuning fork and placing another identical fork nearby. Without touching it, the second fork begins to vibrate at the same frequency. This is resonance, energy transmitting without contact. Your consciousness functions the same way. When you sustain a clear, coherent frequency, everything of similar tone begins to vibrate toward you. It's not metaphoric attraction, it's energetic synchronization. A thought is not just a sentence in your mind. It is an electromagnetic pattern pulsing through the quantum field. Every repetition ingrains the pattern deeper. The brain learns to fire in predictable loops. Neurons that fire together wire together. This means your thoughts are training your vibration. When you think, "I am not enough," the brain emits a low-frequency pattern that the field reflects with confirming experiences. When you think, "I am worthy, whole, and expanding," the pattern shifts. The field reorganizes to mirror that higher order. Reality is not testing you, it is synchronizing with your thought's frequency. The practice, then, is not to suppress thought, but to train its tone. To think consciously is to play the strings of reality with intention. Each thought is a note. Choose it carefully, and your life becomes symphonic. If thought is the note, emotion is the amplifier. Emotion gives charge, velocity, and magnetism to thought. A thought without feeling is a whisper in the wind. A thought infused with emotion becomes a thunderclap across the field. But emotion is not an enemy to be controlled, it is energy in motion. When you resist emotion, you trap it. When you observe it, you transmute it. Every feeling carries information. Anger points to boundaries, sadness points to love, fear points to growth. To tune your frequency, you must listen to these emotions as instruments waiting for reharmonization. Begin each day by asking, "What frequency am I broadcasting emotionally right now?" Not what you should feel, but what you actually emit. Then breathe into that awareness without judgment. Your attention is the hand that gently turns the dial from static to song. Intention is focused with feeling, awareness aimed like a beam of coherent light. In physics, coherence increases power exponentially. A light bulb scatters photons in every direction, but a laser, pure, coherent light, can cut through steel. When your intention becomes coherent, your energy behaves like that laser. You cut through resistance. You collapse probability into form. An intention begins as a silent choice. It does not require strain, only clarity. Say inwardly, "I choose peace. I choose joy. I choose alignment." Then feel the emotion that matches it, the vibration of already being that. This simple act of inner coherence transmits a signal stronger than hours of forced action. Because in that moment, the universe recognizes you. It hears your frequency as an instruction. Your body is not separate from your consciousness. It is your consciousness made visible. Every cell listens to your vibration. When your thoughts and emotions align with gratitude and ease, your cells emit coherence measurable as higher heart rate variability, balanced hormones, and stable electromagnetic rhythms. When your vibration collapses into fear or shame, cellular chaos follows. The body mirrors the inner dissonance. Tuning the instrument of the soul means caring for both spirit and form. Move your body. It shifts stagnant energy. Breathe deeply. It resets the electromagnetic balance. Meditate. It restores coherence between heart and brain. Your body is not an obstacle. It is the amplifier through which the soul expresses frequency. The conductor is the most important instrument in your dynamic ensemble. The electromagnetic field of the heart can affect energy fields meters distant and is 5,000 times stronger than that of the brain. When you cultivate gratitude, compassion, and love, the heart enters coherence, smooth, rhythmic oscillations that entrain the brain to harmony. In this state, intuition heightens, creativity flows, and synchronicities multiply. To tune your heart is to tune your world. Each day, pause and breathe through your heart. Feel gratitude for no reason, not for an outcome, but for existence itself. Within seconds, your frequency changes. The field begins to rearrange around that new vibration. Reality listens. Because love, unconditional, radiant, unreasoning love, is the master frequency through which all creation attunes. You cannot tune what you will not hear. Before coherence comes awareness. Listen to your own static, the mental noise that fills the space between intentions. Notice the inner dialogue that runs unconsciously. It never works for me. I don't deserve this. It's too late. These are not facts. They are frequencies. They hum in your field, shaping experience. But the moment you recognize them as sound rather than truth, they lose authority. You can retune them. Replace self-judgment with curiosity. Replace guilt with gratitude for awareness. Say softly, "This thought once protected me. I now release it to a higher vibration." Such gentle recalibrations are more powerful than confrontation. You cannot fight frequency into harmony. You must invite it. Transformation is the repetition of resonance. Every time you repeat a higher frequency act, you strengthen its pattern in the field. Here are practices to sustain coherence, not as rigid routines, but as musical exercises for your soul's instrument. Morning frequency. Check. Before touching your phone or your worries, ask, "What am I broadcasting today?" Then choose your tone deliberately. Peace, gratitude, confidence. Heart breath. Coherence. Breathe slowly into your chest. Imagine your heart radiating light with each exhale. Within 90 seconds, your electromagnetic field synchronizes. Gratitude loop. Each night, name 3 moments that carried light. Gratitude trains observation toward higher frequencies, reprogramming the subconscious through repetition. Stillness. Minute. Once every hour, pause for 60 seconds. Inhale awareness, exhale resistance. This keeps the instrument tuned amidst noise. These are not symbolic gestures. They are energetic recalibrations. Each act shifts measurable frequencies within and around you. Even the greatest instruments fall out of tune, not from failure, but from use. So too will your vibration fluctuate. Do not fear these moments. They are opportunities for refinement. When dissonance appears, an argument, a setback, a fear, do not react. Listen. The field is showing you where static still hums. Ask gently, what belief is resonating here? What tone is this experience inviting me to release? Then breathe. Forgive yourself for forgetting harmony. Forgiveness instantly raises frequency. It is the sound of resistance dissolving. Every act of compassion towards self sends ripples through the field, harmonizing countless unseen vibrations. Surrender is not passivity, it is precision. In physics, coherence is not achieved by force, but by synchronization. Waves align naturally when they share rhythm. When you stop fighting reality and begin to align with it, you cease emitting contradictory signals. Your energy becomes clean. The field can finally deliver what you have already asked for. Surrender means trusting that the universe is not deaf but exquisitely responsive, that your desires are already understood as frequencies seeking expression. When you release the tension of control, you allow the natural intelligence of the field to orchestrate timing, pathways, and possibilities far beyond the mind's imagination. To tune the instrument of the soul is to become an author of frequency. You begin to live deliberately, choosing vibration before action. When something disturbs you, you no longer react blindly. You pause, breathe, and realign. This pause is mastery, because the instant you shift frequency, the potential outcomes around you shift too. You are no longer repeating the past, you are composing a new waveform into being. Energy reorganizes faster than matter. A vibrational shift you make in 1 minute can alter physical circumstances in hours or days. The visible follows the invisible. Your reality is not waiting years to change, it's waiting seconds for your signal to stabilize. Now close your eyes. Imagine your consciousness as a vast harp, each string glowing with light. Some strings vibrate fast, some slow, some dissonant, some pure. As you breathe, imagine a great hand of divine intelligence gently tuning each string to perfect resonance. Hear the tone rising, harmonizing, clarifying. Feel your body relax into coherence. Your mind quiets, your heart expands. The entire field around you hums in agreement. This is not imagination, it is creation. You are returning reality itself. Every breath you take in this awareness is a broadcast of harmony, and every harmonic wave you send out ripples across existence, touching countless others, inviting them to tune as well. Because vibration is contagious. Coherence spreads faster than chaos. Your inner music becomes the world's new melody. You now know that tuning your frequency is not an abstract idea. It is the practical art of creation. Through awareness, coherence, gratitude, and surrender, you become a living instrument of divine resonance. You don't command the universe, you converse with it, you play, and it responds. But there is a deeper mystery still. For even when the instrument is tuned, something greater begins to play through it, an intelligence beyond the self, guiding rhythm and melody alike. Who is the musician behind the music? What consciousness moves through you when you vibrate in perfect alignment? That is where we journey next. Chapter 4. The Field That Knows Your Name. There comes a point in the path when words like universe, energy, and law of attraction lose their abstraction. They become alive. You stop saying the universe and begin whispering my universe, not from ownership, but from recognition. You realize the field you've been studying is not outside you. It is breathing with you, dreaming with you, remembering you. You can feel it in quiet moments, the gentle pressure of awareness all around, like the air waiting to echo your next exhale. You can sense that it knows your rhythm, your fears, your desires, your stories, not as a judge, but as a mirror made of light. It feels as if something vast, intelligent, and loving is listening, not from a distance, but from within your own heartbeat. This is the field that knows your name, and it has never forgotten you. Science describes it as a quantum field, a sea of energy where all particles arise and vanish in an eternal dance. Mystics have always called it spirit, source, God, the Great Mother, the infinite mind. Whatever language you choose, the truth remains. There is a living awareness woven through the fabric of reality. It is not a metaphor, it is the fundamental consciousness from which matter, time, and thought emerge. This field is self-aware. It does not observe you as something separate. It observes through you. Your eyes are its eyes. Your thoughts are its movements. Your vibration is the way it sings. You are not a visitor within creation. You are a syllable in its divine sentence. And because you are made of the same frequency as the source itself, it recognizes you instantly. When you think, it feels. When you desire, it listens. When you pray, it vibrates with the tone of your intention. This is why the universe appears so personal. Why synchronicities arrive like private conversations. Why do you dream of something one night and see its reflection the next day? It's not a coincidence. It's communication. You are not sending messages into emptiness. You are conversing with the infinite through frequency. The field responds to your emotional signature, not your words. It moves toward coherence the way a compass needle moves toward magnetic north. When you are aligned, when thought, heart, and intention vibrate as one, the field rushes to meet you in symmetry. That is why miracles feel effortless. They are not exceptions to the law. They are the law operating without resistance. Everything you experience is the field's reply to your current broadcast. Every delay is a loving echo asking you to fine-tune your frequency. Every blessing is the universe nodding, saying, "Yes, I heard you clearly." Just as every voice has a unique timbre, every soul has a signature vibration, a frequency unlike any other. It is composed of your accumulated experiences, intentions, and awareness. It is your energetic fingerprint in the quantum field. No one else emits the exact combination of tones that you do. When you align with your true frequency, not the personality built by fear, but the resonance of your higher essence, the field recognizes you immediately. Doors open, paths clear, helpers appear. The universe knows your authentic note and harmonizes with it instantly. This is why imitation weakens energy. When you mimic another's path, the field hesitates. It cannot locate your signal beneath the noise. But the moment you return to authenticity, to your real rhythm, your original sound, the entire cosmos rearranges to support you. The field responds to truth, because truth and vibration are the same phenomenon experienced through different senses. Have you ever walked into a place and felt an inexplicable sense of belonging, as if reality itself sighed in relief at your arrival? That is the field recognizing you, saying, "Ah, here you are." You might think it was a coincidence, a comfortable atmosphere, a pleasing scent. But beneath the surface, frequency met frequency. The environment matched your inner tone, and you felt the harmony. This is what destiny truly means, not a path imposed from above, but a vibrational meeting point between your soul's signature and the field's infinite potential. Destiny is resonance remembered. When you live authentically, you are not finding your path. You are tuning into it. It has always existed, waiting for your frequency to become clear enough to recognize it. To understand how intimately the field knows you, consider this. It never stops reflecting your energy, even when that energy is shadowed. When you emit anger, it does not punish, it mirrors. When you emit fear, it does not retreat. It vibrates back clarity until you notice the distortion. When you emit love, it multiplies it endlessly. The field's only law is resonance. And resonance is not moral. It is merciful. Because through reflection, it teaches. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every loss is the field's way of saying, "Here is a part of your vibration asking to be tuned." When you meet these reflections with compassion instead of resistance, something extraordinary happens. Your frequency rises instantly. Compassion is one of the highest vibrations known to creation because it unites opposites. It allows you to see without judgment, to heal without denial, to love without demand. It brings every frequency home. The universe speaks in the language of frequency, but it translates itself into experience so you can understand. If you are in alignment, reality flows. If you fall out of harmony, reality echoes the dissonance until you retune. The field is never silent. It is teaching you through resonance every second. When you walk through life as if the field is your closest companion, it begins to behave like one. You'll feel guided, protected, accompanied by a presence you can't quite explain. That presence is not outside of you, it is you, expanded, reflected, multiplied through the infinite mirror of the cosmos. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the universe as a vast, glowing web of light stretching in all directions. Every strand pulses gently, connecting star to star, soul to soul. Now imagine that web running through you, threads of energy weaving your body, your mind, your emotions, your memories. There is no boundary between the two. The same vibration animating galaxies hums quietly in your chest. That hum is the field's heartbeat, and it beats your heart as well. You don't need to seek connection. You are connected. When you breathe consciously, you are breathing the same light that ignites stars. When you love, you send ripples through constellations. The distance between me and the universe dissolves. There is only consciousness, observing itself from infinite angles. The field knows your name, but not the one given at birth. It knows the soundless name, the frequency that existed before words, before form. That vibration is your eternal identity. It is the tone the universe sings when it thinks of you. You hear it sometimes in dreams, in moments of awe, in the quiet after tears. It's a familiarity that brings peace without reason, the soul recognizing itself. When you align with that nameless frequency, you feel invincible yet gentle, powerful yet humble. You stop chasing and start radiating. Life flows toward you as if recognizing an old friend, because it is. The field and your essence have always been companions in the same melody. To live as vibration is to trust the field even when you can't see evidence. Trust is a high-frequency state. It opens channels that fear closes. When you trust, the field accelerates manifestation because resistance dissolves. The invisible responds faster when you stop doubting its intelligence. The universe is not testing you, it's tuning you. When delays occur, it's essential that your vibration matches your desired creation. When relationships end, it's clearing interference from your signal. When sudden blessings appear, it's the field saying, "You are in tune, let's play." Every situation is feedback, not fate. Every outcome is a conversation, not a coincidence. And when you learn to read this feedback without fear, you become fluent in the language of reality itself. There will come a moment, and perhaps it is arriving now, when you will sit in silence and realize that you are surrounded by listening. Everything listens. The air, the atoms, the starlight. They vibrate with recognition because you are vibrating consciously again. The field hums through you like a forgotten melody remembered. You feel as if the entire universe has taken a breath with you. That moment is what sages call communion. It is not a vision or a revelation, it is a remembering. You recall that separation was never real, that the Creator was never far, that the answer was always closer than your next heartbeat. And from that moment forward, life feels different. Not easier, but clearer. Because now you know that reality is not something to conquer, but something to converse with. And the quality of that conversation depends entirely on your vibration. When your frequency stabilizes in love, the field begins to echo it beyond your personal world. Your vibration travels. It influences other fields, other hearts, other realities. You become a tuning fork for collective harmony. The peace you hold in one moment can calm storms halfway across the planet, not metaphorically but literally through the invisible web of energy that connects all life. This is why the highest service is inner alignment. When one soul raises its frequency, the entire network shifts a little closer to coherence. You are never creating alone. Every moment of love, gratitude, or forgiveness you embody becomes part of humanity's shared resonance. You are the universe healing itself through awareness. The field knows your name because it is the part of you that never forgets itself. It has been waiting patiently, not for your perfection, but for your presence. Now that you remember, you will never feel alone again. The dialogue between you and the infinite has begun anew. But there is one final revelation still waiting. For when your vibration becomes so clear, so steady, that matter itself begins to move, bend, and form around your consciousness, when frequency becomes form, when thought steps into visibility, when the invisible hand of the field begins to sculpt reality before your eyes, that is the next chapter of this journey. Chapter 5. When frequency becomes form. There is a moment when energy slows down enough to be seen, when vibration thickens into light and light crystallizes into matter. In that sacred deceleration, the invisible becomes visible and the dream steps into time. This is the point where frequency becomes form. The ancients called it the descent of the spirit. Physicists call it decoherence, the collapse of a wave into a particle. Mystics call it manifestation. But in truth, they are describing the same mystery, consciousness vibrating itself into visibility. Everything that exists, the mountains, the cities, the stars, began as vibration, not as a thing, but as an intention, a tone, a frequency seeking expression. And that same power is alive within you right now, waiting for permission to create. Look around you. Every object you see is slowed down energy. Your body is condensed light. Your thoughts are subtle electricity. Your emotions are magnetic waves weaving through your cells. Form is simply vibration made patient enough for the senses to perceive. This means you are not a being inside matter. You are a frequency becoming matter, moment by moment. Your consciousness is the sculptor. Your vibration is the chisel. Reality is the marble, pliable, responsive, and alive. When your frequency changes, form reorganizes. You have seen this on small scales, moods shifting outcomes, coincidences aligning with emotion, opportunities appearing after inner breakthroughs. But the same principle operates universally. Reality bends not to willpower, but to vibration. At first, it feels subtle. A thought repeated with emotion starts magnetizing its reflection. You think of a person and they call. You feel peace and traffic clears. You radiate gratitude and the day unfolds with improbable grace. This is the field answering the signal you're sending. But as coherence strengthens, form becomes faster, clearer, and more direct. What you imagine in meditation appears in physical circumstances. What you speak with conviction finds its way into experience. You begin to realize that matter is not solid. It is a conversation between your inner world and the field's intelligence. You do not attract by demanding. You translate vibration into density. You do not manifest by begging, you become the frequency of the thing desired. The field can only materialize what matches your current vibration. It cannot betray resonance. It is absolute precision. Emotion is the magnetic bridge between thought and matter. When you feel the reality of your desire before it appears, you create a bridge across which form can travel. Feeling is the creative handshake between the invisible and the visible. When you hold gratitude for what has not yet arrived, you are not pretending, you are activating its waveform. To the quantum field, there is no difference between the emotion of a thing imagined and a thing experienced. It reads vibration, not chronology. When your emotional frequency matches the reality you desire, the universe assumes it already exists and reorganizes matter accordingly. This is not faith as wishful thinking. It is resonance as command. To feel it as real is to make it real. Every belief you hold is a blueprint in the field. Beliefs structure vibration into predictable forms, just as geometric patterns organize sound into sacred shapes. Change the belief, and the geometry of your energy changes. The architecture of your life follows. This is why transformation begins not by fighting outer circumstances, but by rewriting inner conviction. You cannot outsmart your belief system. You must out-vibrate it. Each time you entertain a new belief, one that expands possibility rather than contracts it, you draw new patterns in the quantum matrix. The field instantly begins building according to the new design. You are not waiting for reality to change. Reality is waiting for you to emit a new geometry. Creation does not happen in time. It happens frequently. The moment your vibration matches the reality you desire, creation is complete. The physical manifestation that follows is merely the echo of that energetic alignment. This is why masters throughout history have spoken of faith, vision, and alignment. They were speaking of energetic completion before physical arrival. To them, waiting was irrelevant. They had already become the vibration of the fulfilled desire. The rest was inevitable. In truth, you are never manifesting. You are only remembering frequencies that already exist in potential. You are tuning your consciousness to stations that have always been broadcasting. Change the dial, and the song changes instantly. The universe doesn't delay, it synchronizes. When your vibration stabilizes, even the so-called inert begins to respond. Technology functions smoothly. Your home feels alive. Nature seems to cooperate. Winds calm, lights flicker, animals approach without fear. It is not fantasy. It is frequency coherence extending into matter. Every object has energy, and energy is communicative. Matter listens to the consciousness that perceives it. This is why reverence transforms. When you treat your environment as sacred, its frequency rises to match your respect. When you bless your food, your home, your path, you are not being superstitious. You are embedding vibration into form. Everything responds to gratitude because gratitude is the resonance of acknowledgement. You are surrounded by living matter, waiting for you to speak the language of vibration again. At the highest frequency, the distinction between inner and outer collapses. You realize there is no manifesting, only revealing. The field was always complete. Your vibration simply chooses which aspect of infinity to experience next. When you align perfectly, you feel the pulse of creation moving through you, a sensation beyond emotion, beyond thought. It feels like electricity woven with peace. You understand that what you once called my will is part of a larger current flowing through all existence. You are not manifesting against the universe. You are manifesting with it. Creation becomes collaboration. Effort gives way to elegance. Desire transforms into communion. This is the highest art. To live as a conscious frequency in conversation with form. When frequency becomes form, there is a silence that follows, not emptiness, but completion. The same silence that follows a symphony's final note, where air still vibrates with what was just played. In that silence, gratitude arises naturally. You realize there was never separation between cause and effect, spirit and matter, heaven and earth. They were one continuum, vibrating at different tempos. This is what the sages meant by as above, so below. It was not poetry, it was physics. Energy condenses into matter the same way thought condenses into experience. Your inner world is the higher octave, your physical world the lower. Both are music. Right now, as you listen, you are standing in the moment between vibration and form, between what has been imagined and what is about to appear. This moment is sacred. It is the womb of creation, the still point where infinity decides to become visible. You may feel a tingling. That's coherence. You may sense warmth, expansion, calm. That's resonance aligning your body with the new frequency. This is where you stop asking and start allowing. The field is already responding. You are being rewritten in light. At a certain point, the separation between you and the field disappears completely. You no longer say, reality responds to my frequency, because you understand you are responding to reality itself. You are the pulse, the wave, the song, the silence. There is no sender and receiver, only vibration dancing as both. Every breath you take is the universe inhaling itself. Every moment you love is a creation celebrating its own reflection. In this state, manifestation is not a technique but a nature. You think, and it happens. You feel, and the world mirrors. Time bends, and synchronicity becomes the norm. You are no longer within the dream. You are the dreamer awake. Now, as the echoes of this transmission fade, something stirs. Not conclusion, but continuation. Because once you realize that frequency becomes form, a deeper question emerges. Who or what is choosing the frequency? Is it the personality with its fleeting desires? Or is it something vaster? The soul, the higher intelligence orchestrating lessons and love across lifetimes. When you begin to sense that even your desires are guided, that even your vibration is part of a larger symphony unfolding, you step into the next dimension of realization, the divine design. A place where your will and universal will merge into one current, where creation is not commanded but revealed through surrender, where every manifestation is not proof of control but evidence of participation in cosmic harmony. That, beloved listener, is where this story truly begins. You have journeyed from vibration to awareness, from awareness to alignment, from alignment to manifestation. You have remembered the silent language that reality speaks, the language of frequency. And now, as you stand at the threshold where energy crystallizes into form, know this. Reality does not happen to you. It happens through you. You are not a visitor in creation. You are its living pulse. Every heartbeat is a command. Every emotion is a tone. Every thought a seed of form. So speak carefully. Feel consciously. Love without condition. Because reality is listening, and the field that knows your name is waiting to show you what you've always been, the frequency that creates worlds. There comes a moment, quiet, almost imperceptible, when you realize reality isn't just responding to you, it's aware of you. The field that mirrors your frequency begins to move with intention, not yours, but something deeper. You start to sense it, a presence that has been here all along, woven into every coincidence, every heartbeat, every breath. The same force that echoed your thoughts is now whispering back in a language you can finally hear. It knows when you open your heart. It knows when you hide your light. It knows your rhythm, your silence, your longing. And when you align with that awareness, something extraordinary happens. The universe stops being a reflection and becomes a relationship. What if the energy you've been sending into the world has been recognized, personally, intimately, by a field that knows you by vibration, not by name? Because in truth, it already does. And now, it's time to remember why. Continue in part 2, The Field That Knows Your Name.